Somewhere beyond the recesses of time and space, two podcasters are set adrift in a machine, picking up transmissions of movies that are forgotten but not gone.
Welcome to Movie Memory Machine 5-4, the mini-series where we bring you 5 films related to the movie we are talking about on the main feed. Today, it's Bandits. We are your hosts, Landon Solano and Truman Capps. Truman, it's good to see you.
Landon, it's great to be seen, and it is not great to be seeing Bruce Willis's long-ass hair in the snippet from this movie.
Ugh, it's gross. I hate it. Hopefully the machine hasn't served us up 5 films in which there are disgusting hair pieces in it.
Well, wait, is this a wig, though? Is this a wig, or is this just a bad extension situation?
I think it's an extension situation. It's not a full wig, no. I would say it's an extension situation.
Okay, see, well, hey, look, that chalk one up for me not being flummoxed by a wig.
Not entirely.
Should
we see what the machine has served up for us?
Serve it up. Let's wig out. Oh, quick change! Hell yeah, quick change. This is the Bill Murray bank robbery comedy where he dresses up as a clown.
Yeah. Want to talk more about that?
Sure. I guess I just didn't want to steal any of your thunder, but this is a movie that I feel like really lived on basic cable when certain podcast hosts were young enough to be sitting around watching TV all the time. Bill Murray dresses up as a clown to rob a bank, and then he and his accomplices are disguised as... he has 2 accomplices already in the bank, one of them Gina Davis, I believe, who is... a
national treasure.
A national treasure. She's wonderful. He hides a bunch of the money on her and his other accomplice and releases them from the bank, and then he takes off the clown makeup and blends in with the crowd of hostages fleeing, and he escapes the bank. And you're thinking, Truman, you've given away the whole movie. No, most of the movie is them trying to get out of New York and getting lost in, like, Queens or something. And it's a little road movie that is specific to, like, getting out of New York.
Yes, but it hinges on the relationship of 3 characters.
Yeah,
particularly 2 men and a woman. And a pizza place.
But it's not a love triangle, though. It's more of a nuclear family dynamic, because the other co-conspirator in this, played by Randy Quaid, is sort of like childlike, almost. Like, they're both like looking after him.
He played a lot of childlike characters, actually.
Find a thing you're good at and do it for the rest of your life. Yeah. I think this movie is an interesting time capsule. This came out in 1990 of kind of like there were a lot of movies where it was like, New York sucks. I hate New York. Fuck this hellhole. And this whole movie is like a love letter to New York sucking, which you don't really get anymore. And I think that's an interesting piece of a time and place.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the only thing on my mind right now is the kind of bummer Debbie Downer part of this, which is Gina Davis has reported some untoward behavior on Bill Murray's part toward her, and making it a very difficult shoot.
That's unfortunate. I don't know why Bill Murray chose to behave in that way, and I don't support it at all. And it makes it harder for me now to do little quippy bits about this movie. Was this on cable all the time for you? Was this a seminal film for you?
It wasn't seminal. No, it was definitely on. I don't know why, growing up on Bill Murray, that I wasn't attracted or, enamored with it. I watched this more as an adult, not often, but I've watched it streaming a handful of times. I don't know. I don't love this movie. It's okay.
Having watched this more recently as an adult, I fully agree with you. This is not a great film. It is one of those ones that lives in a lot of images in my head from seeing it on cable as a kid, but it's fairly flimsy. This could have been an email, This concept didn't need to be a whole movie.
Yeah. Well, let's see what the machine has in store for us next.
Okay. Well, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, a movie where we had the opposite experience with it.
Yes. Yeah, and just look at those faces looking at you.
Look at those two really good-looking men, Robert Redford and Paul Newman, star of the Hudsucker Proxy, but back when they were young. This movie is a really... it's a powerful movie that is just sort of about friendship and also living in a dying world and kind of confronting the fact that the thing that you're good at and have spent your whole life getting good at is disappearing, and trying to make sense of what you'll do with the rest of your life.
That sort of thing is completely missing from Bandits, and something that Bandits could 100% benefit from. It doesn't have to be exactly that, but put these men up against some sort of big external or existential, time in their life. They've just lost time to prison. Like, nothing of their past seems to affect them at all during the movie. And I think Butch Cassidy really does live on timelessly because of those things. Yeah. Otherwise, it would just be another kind of like shoot 'em up hangout movie.
Yeah. And it's not even really that shooty up until the very end, when it gets extremely shooty. I think that this movie came out in 1969, and I think it's very much about... Landon's doing the hang loose sign with his hands, I guess. It's like very much about looking at a changing world and being scared of it and trying to find your place in it and make sense of it. And
having the Bruce Willis and Billy Bob Thornton come out in 2001 to a changing technological landscape would have been an incredible dimension to add to it.
Yeah, because I mean, again, every one of these sort of bank heist crime spree movies is ultimately, it is about, well, like, whatever you were doing before you can never go back to, and honestly it's pretty unlikely that you can even keep doing the thing you are currently doing for that long, so you need to make the most of it. So, just a movie about two guys who got really good at their career and then find themselves being made obsolete as the West dies. And, as a professional writer in the age of AI, I see no parallels whatsoever to this movie, and I'm not super emotionally invested in it.
And I can't let this one go by without acknowledging, you alluded to it on the main show, but the not super veiled threesome-y-ness of this movie with Catherine Ross.
This movie has the good sense to be hornier than Bandits. It comes closer to it. And had they not been bound by the strictures of 1960s society, I think they could have gone all the way.
Yes. Right. Let's move on to our next film, shall we?
I made my co-host nervous there, and that's okay. Yes. Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. Oh, man. Clint Eastwood was in so many dang movies that I've just never even heard. Wait, hang on. Michael Cimino made this?
Yeah.
Mr. Heaven's Gate.
Correct, yes.
Mr. Deer Hunter made this.
That is correct. Before both of those movies.
Wow. Yeah. Tell me about Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. I've never heard of it.
This is Jeff Bridges, in a kind of a younger role, is playing the hothead. He's the young sidekick to Clint Eastwood's bank robber, stoic bank robber character.
Yeah.
Things go artsy-turvy at a certain point.
Doing that, huh?
The dynamic between them is what the movie hinges on. And it does these things where, like, they hate each other. They, at points, maybe in a kind of like dudes movie kind of way, secretly respect each other.
Yeah.
But then, without spoiling anything, a kind of big thing happens, and it doesn't shy away from the pathos in a movie that is very much about having the fun and games of the bank robbery-ness. It allows itself to have a moment of, like, let's hold the phone for a second and really pay attention to what is happening here on a human level.
So do you think that kind of, like, having that deep pathos in this movie is this kind of part of what set Cimino up then to make this huge Academy Award bait movie, The Deer Hunter, a couple years after? Was it like this established him as like he can handle tough subjects?
You're setting me up for a perfect scenario to sound smart, because I read the Michael Cimino biography like last year.
Oh, wow.
And do not remember. I know that there was another director at one point, and Clint Eastwood brought Cimino on because he was efficient in an ironic way of finishing out the picture. But yeah, I don't know. It probably did give him because this was a hit. It probably did give him some leverage to start making his own films.
Yeah, and then Heaven's Gate took that leverage away.
Yes,
I know you like Heaven's Gate, Landon. We're all aware.
I like the longer cut of it. It's that's a good version of a hangout movie.
Boy, actually, now you've really got me. I'm sorry, I'm not talking about the movie the Machine recommended anymore. Now you really have sold me on watching the extended cut of Heaven's Gate. I am down for like a 5-hour cowboy hang.
You get to see Willem Dafoe in like the background because his character got cut out because he pissed Michael Cimino off.
So he got cut out of this movie and he was like, I'm gonna go be in Streets of Fire.
Yes.
Okay. Well, anyway, we talked about a lot of other movies besides Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, but yeah, sounds good. Jeff Bridges, cute guy.
All right, moving on.
The Old Man and the Gun. Wow, we are getting Robert Redforded all over the place.
Aren't we?
This is a movie from 2018. I heard this was quite good, and then I didn't watch it, which I've been regretting. Talk to me about it.
You and everybody, I feel like. Listen, I'm a little biased. I love David Lowery. Let me rephrase that. I love his films. I don't know the man. I don't know what his philosophy on life is, but
great.
He has a way of accessing the human portions of a genre film and taking a genre film and kind of examining it from a different angle. This movie is about Robert Redford. It's actually based on a true story. Robert Redford is playing a bank robber who has a romance with Sissy Spacek.
Hello.
And so it's a bank robber romance movie. He's kind of this charming, like last breed of a gentleman bank robber. There's a lot of just notes of bandits in this movie, but this is a far more calculatedly slow movie. It's very patient, and it's very just like, this is the character version of Bandits that to me should work.
Yeah, and I feel like a bank robbery heist movie taking a slow and deliberate pace, like, you've got the tension that's going to build up from just knowing what this guy does, and then it will make the heist scenes when you get to them that much more satisfying for having done it, instead of Bandits, which kind of throws in a couple random car chases and crashes for no particular reason.
Yeah, because it decides to be a movie at a certain point.
Exactly.
Off and on it does.
Yeah, when it feels like it.
Yeah. I highly recommend Old Man and the Gun. Definitely, like, you're right. No one saw this movie. I think you should seek it out.
I will do that. I'm on board.
All right, let's move on to our last film.
Oh, Thieves Like Us. I have not seen this, but boy, I always recognize Shelley Duvall when I see her face on a thing, because she is a recognizable type. Talk to me about this.
You just described faces.
I mean, I'm pretty bad with faces, as you may have noticed. I don't recognize actors very well, but Shelley Duvall, I always recognize that specific face.
That's a good litmus for Truman. Is it Shelley Duvall recognizable?
It also helps that Shelley Duvall had that fairy tale theater show where every episode started with her going, "Hi, I'm Shelley Duvall." So it really helped me to just like lock in. That's Shelley Duvall.
Face name.
Thieves Like Us. Explain.
Yes. Robert Altman. I saw this too long ago to really weigh an opinion on. I have personally always had a I've never had an access point to Robert Altman. He's one of those directors that I need someone to hold my hand and walk me through him.
Yeah.
There are exceptions. The Long Goodbye, a
Sure.
handful of others. I kind of like Gosford Park, but like most of his work escapes me. This one I feel like I would want to revisit, and it might actually be my new access point to what Robert Altman does.
Yeah. So it's about based on just the readout I'm seeing here. It's criminals who escape from prison. They're on a crime spree. They're robbing dozens of banks, and there's a love triangle that ensues. So what you're describing here is the movie Bandits, but directed by a very acclaimed director and starring Keith Carradine.
And yes, that's exactly what I am saying. No shade to Barry Levinson, who is also an acclaimed director.
Yeah, but I mean, Altman he's a different category. I'm not trying to shame anybody here, but just, Robert Altman.
Yeah. Again, another Altman film that I didn't really get or respond to was McCabe and Mrs. Miller, but I think similarly to that, this film, and maybe like to Bonnie and Clyde, this film captures the time in which it's set. It's really got attention paid to, the 1930s time frame, which is incredible to look at, and not in like a 13th floor.
Sure.
We created a simulation of 1937, but like if you were able to take a camera and just document 1937, this is what it would look like.
Well, and it's like it's reflective of, I don't know, that era when there were so many of these like famous bank robbers, Bonnie and Clyde and Pretty Boy Floyd and all of these kind of infamous interstate bank robbers. A lot of that was happening against the backdrop of the Great Depression, the Dust Bowl, like apocalyptic circumstances where lots of young people in particular were like, well, fuck society, there's nothing left for me here. I'm gonna just rob banks and shoot people.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point about Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, I think there was a glut of these gangster movies revisited in the new Hollywood from, 68 to, mid 70s, this being one of them. And I think like when you look back to the 1930s gangster pictures, it was very much a morality tale. Crime doesn't pay. We can have our cake and eat it too. We can watch the crime, we can take satisfaction watching the crime, but they always get their comeuppance in the end.
Yeah.
The crime and gangster pictures of the new Hollywood had this kind of like ennui to them.
Yeah.
It had this like questioning of their place in society, the responsibility that they have to themselves, to other people. Like there's just this other underlying tapestry to them all. And I want to say that in comparison to Bandits, which is like made of an era where almost no movies had that. It was all gloss.
Yes.
And so they're all lacking a certain amount of dimension that you can find in these the new Hollywood movies.
Yeah, these are movies that are not really glorifying the criminals by any means,
right,
but they're also just kind of taking the stance of these people are products of a society that itself is sick, and what does that say about us?
Yeah, but where the 1930s films were very much the characters were reactive to their environment, the characters of the 1960s and 70s are like lost. They've arrived in this line of work, but they're kind of aimless. And I think that was very reflective of the time. I don't need to go into a whole dissertation about this, but all of that is what the Bandits misses, and I think would have made it better. And that is 5 films for the movie Bandits.
Well, there you go. Don't watch Bandits. Maybe watch some of those movies instead.
But you said send it back.
Well, I mean, I guess I did, but I already even having... Look, I've seen Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. That is a much more memorable movie. If it's down to Bandits, which I slightly liked, versus Butch and Sundance, you know where I stand.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Fair.
Great.
Well, join us here Friday when we cover a brand new movie. So until then, for Truman Caps, I have been Landon Solano.
And for Landon Solano, I've been Truman Caps. Goodbye.
Bye.
Movie Memory Machine is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. Join our Patreon at patreon.com/gruntworkpod to keep the machine running. Theme song by Porky's Groove Machine. Rate us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. For more information on today's show, visit MovieMemoryMachine.com.